Hello everyone, my name is Rafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today I'm spotlighting another deck from the new box, the Firewall eXceed Dragon deck. This deck is extremely easy to build, very cheap. You only need 2 super rares from the new box, and it plays similarly to the other Playmaker decks, but I have to be honest, I'm going to go ahead and tell you straight out of the gate. I've had a lot of people asking me whether this deck is good or not. It's not. It's not good. Unlike the Synchro Quantum deck or the Fusion Clockup deck, which were already both only barely playable, this one struggles a lot. The skill makes the deck very easy to set up your eXceed summon. The problem is that eXceed summoning and summoning your Firewall and your Firewall eXceed Dragon is not strong. It's not a good play. There are much better things you could be doing than making these 2 monsters. So I understand that they had to give us eXceed Dragon to set up for the Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid that they're giving us in May, but this deck is, unless you're a really big fan of Playmaker, this deck is probably just a solid skip for you. Anyway, I'll go ahead and I'll spotlight the deck. I'll have replays tomorrow. You guys can see the deck in action for yourself. I streamed it last night, and wow, this deck took me ages to get 5 wins on, and I tried everything. I swapped it up so many times. You can see the deck has tons of disruption, and it does not matter. It is just so difficult to get any sort of advantage with this deck. Regardless, let's talk about it. The skill is called Neostorm eXceed. You can use this skill's second effect once per duel. You cannot special summon except special summons from the extra deck any monsters except light, dark, and wind cyberse type monsters. That's fine. If you control a cyberse type link monster, send 1 Firewall Dragon from your extra deck to the graveyard. This card can be special summoned. Then you can apply the following effect. Shuffle 1 card from your hand or field to your deck, then play 1 Firewall Guardian from your deck to your field in face-down defense position. Its battle position can be changed. So that means that you have a 1-card eXceed summon. As long as you have your Firewall Guardian, you can normal summon Firewall Guardian, you can link it into your Link Disciple. Then Firewall Guardian's effect says, if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the link summon of a cyberse monster, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So your first Firewall Guardian comes back, you activate the skill, you return any other card in your hand to the deck, you summon a second Firewall Guardian, and then you eXceed summon into your Firewall eXceed Dragon, and you can revive your Firewall Dragon. So just the Firewall Guardian by itself will get you at least something. It's a good skill. Don't get me wrong, it's the monsters that are bad. The cards are not good enough, it's not the skill. Alright, let's talk about the deck. We are playing 3 copies of Effect Veiler, 3 copies of DD Crow, and 2 Crackdowns to try and get some interruption. These are probably the best cards that I can think to play, primarily because we want to disrupt our opponent going first as much as possible, because our best bet is to kill them when we go second. The deck does not do very well going first, but going second, as long as you can make sure your opponent does not set up an unbreakable board, you can probably OTK. That's what you should be aiming for. Firewall Guardian, if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a link summon of a cyberse monster, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You already know this. When an attack is declared involving your link monster and an opponent's link monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the attack, and if you do, until the end of the turn, the original attack with that opponent's monster becomes 0. Also, it is unaffected by other card effects except its own. You can only use each effect of Firewall Guardian once per turn. So that is an interesting effect, and we'll come back to what that's for when we get to the extra deck. Clock Wyvern, if this card is normal or special summon, you can have this card's attack. If you do special summon a token, you can only use this effect once per turn. This means that Clock Wyvern is also a 1-card eXceed because it allows you to, when you normal summon it, you can summon a token, the token becomes your Link Disciple, then you get your Firewall Guardian, now you have 2 monsters. In that instance, though, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and use Firewall Guardian's effect as well. You'll link Firewall Guardian with Link Disciple to go into your Cyberse Wicked. Firewall Guardian will then revive itself, and then you can eXceed. And the reason we want Cyberse Wicked is because it says Cyberse monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by card effects. So this will protect both your Firewall Dragon and your Firewall eXceed Dragon from being destroyed. And that's the board you should be aiming for. Firewall Guardian plus 1 extender gives you that board. Speaking of extenders, Balancer Lord, once per turn you can pay 1,000 life points. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Cyberse monster in addition to your normal summoner set. And if this card is banished, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your hand. So, Balancer Lord plus any other level 4 in your hand will allow you to, again, extend into that full play. One-time passcode, this gives you a token, which you can then link into Link Disciple. So again, One-time passcode will allow you to at least get started, and it's a good option. Then for the extra deck, we have the Utopia package. I'm playing Utopia, Utopia the Lightning, and the number C39 Utopia Ray. People have told me that I don't need to play Utopia Ray in this deck, but I disagree, because Wicked can't be destroyed by battle, and it only has 800 attack points. So it's actually pretty common between Balancer Lord and Wicked to get super low on life points. And if you don't die, then Utopia Ray could let you OTK. So it's a good option. If you don't know what this does, you detach 3 materials from it. It gains 1500 attack points, and it lowers an opponent's monster's attack points by 3000. So you can attack for 4000 usually. Alright, let's talk about the main deck monster. Firewall eXceed Dragon requires 2 or more level 4s. This card gains 500 attack times the total link rating of link monsters linked to this card. You can attach 2 materials from this card, target one link 4 Cyber monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your field so it points to this card. Also, you cannot special summon other monsters or attack directly for the rest of the turn. So, you will link summon Cyber's Wicked to the left extra monster zone, so it points down and to the middle. Then you eXceed Firewall eXceed Dragon into the center. And then you detach 2 materials and you summon Firewall Dragon to the left. Then Firewall Dragon is pointing to Wicked. So Firewall Dragon's co-link effect is live. Wicked also points to Firewall eXceed Dragon. So not only does it prevent Firewall eXceed Dragon from being destroyed by card effects, but it also gives Firewall eXceed Dragon 1000 extra attack points from eXceed Dragon's own effect. So eXceed Dragon, because it has 6 total link ratings pointing to it, will have 5500 attack points. That's your turn 1. 5500 attack points, can't be destroyed, and you have a bounce. Lastly, for the eXceed monsters, we have Karen Gorgon, Anti-Luminescent Knight. It's just a good option for making sure that you don't lose the game if you are on the back foot. And then Link Disciple as a Link 1. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay. I apologize in advance, I don't have any good replays to show you. This is just the closest one to what we can see. Alright, so we got one-time passcode and Clock Wyvern, along with Effect Veiler and Crackdown. We're going first against Evil Twins. Activate one-time passcode, we special summon a token, and we link it off. Link Disciple. Normal summon Clock Wyvern, and the opponent is going to Effect Veiler Clock Wyvern. Okay, so we're going to play through some disruption here. Clock Wyvern gets negated, so we don't have a token anymore. Okay, but now what we can do is we can return the Crackdown to our deck, which will allow us to set the Firewall Guardian. Flip Firewall Guardian, link it off, go into Wicked. Firewall Guardian comes back, and then we eXceed into Firewall eXceed Dragon. And since we managed to bait the Effect Veiler, now we can just go ahead and win the game. eXceed Dragon detach 2, get back the Firewall that we sent to the graveyard with the skill. Now we have Wicked pointing to both eXceed Dragon and Firewall Dragon. So we have 2 monsters, a link 4 and a rank 4, that can both not be destroyed by card effects. And this card can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. And then we have a bounce as well. It's our opponent's turn. They draw, they summon Live Twin Lila. We will Effect Veiler that. And the opponent just attacks it to our monster. So there you go. Yeah, that was basically every game was, either I got destroyed or I managed to set up a unbreakable board and I managed to use hand traps and back row to stop my opponent from doing anything, and they instantly surrendered. So that's kind of the deck. You OTK, and I hope you guys enjoy the fact that you have a giant Firewall monster. Look forward to Dark Fluid. My name is Rafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.